Hi, my name is Jessica. Today is Wednesday, February 22nd, 2025, and in this video I'm gonna show you some fully finishes, some starts. I'm gonna talk about future stitch alongs and some stitch alongs that are already joined, and there is gonna be also heaven and earth design that I have started that I talked about in previous video. I'm very far along for the first month. I started on January 2nd and I'm already almost 7,000 stitches in. And let's get started. It is Saturday, December 28th. It's early in the morning, a little bit foggy, but the weather has been good here in St. Joseph, Missouri. It's been like yesterday 55 degrees and today around 40s, 50s, so this is almost like a California weather here, which is nice. And I do have some finishes here and some progresses, and we're gonna have some new starts. Okay, so let's start with the finishes. Right here, many of you probably know what this design is because this is one of the popular designs from a Plum Street sampler. This is called Rack Stack. And then here I did my own conversion, and well, I try to do as close as to the called for colors, but I actually I picked this DMC right here. This is my own overdyed DMC. I just overdyed the actual DMC and I came up with these cute brown colors. And the green was overdyed too, and it's one green color, the one that's on the outside of the hollies, but the inside is a different one, but it looks different because of the variegation. It's all one thread and it's all the variegation except this middle part. And I'm gonna be making this into like a pillow. I'm not sure if I'm gonna put like a rickrack around it. Not rickrack, well, you could put a rickrack, like a chenille or something, but it already has like a border, so it might be just okay with the border. Okay, let me get the paper behind. Oh, there we go. That's better. You see those beautiful variegations in the original pattern. This is he's a lot lighter, and I was thinking about that, but then I thought this just looks so gorgeous, and they do kind of like that in nature too. And I also changed the color fabric. He's more closer to what the original design is. And now that you know those berries in a picture of the original design, they do have a variegated floss used in there. And I think I'm gonna pick this floss, and when I come home to California, Long Beach, California, I'm gonna overdye this one, maybe with like a darker color, and it's gonna have a beautiful variegation. Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look at the next progress. This is a Bent Creek Redbird sampler, and I'm almost done with it. I just have one more tier of the treetop here, and there is like 2 branches here and a eye, which is a French knot that I'm leaving for later so it doesn't get pulled out accidentally by Q-snaps. And there's specialty stitches. This is a long stitch. I think it's called herringbone right here, and this one long arm, not long arm, something else. This is a rice stitch. It's my favorite. It looks like a cozy winter sweater. And this one is a chevron. It's my least favorite. I didn't really care for it too much. And I'm stitching on 28 count Eva Ebelhor. I changed the colors here Like this right here was supposed to be, I think it was like a brown color or some dark color, and I thought there was too much brown in here, so I decided to go with some like muted blue. It actually looks more darker on the screen, but it's muted blue. There's some specialty Smyrna stitches in the roof. Yes, I'm almost done with it. Probably 2 more days of stitching and we'll be done with it. All right, let's move on to the next. Sorry about you. Okay, the next project I'm gonna start from the little stitcher, and I might have to insert the picture. This is a magazine pattern. I just kind of had to photocopy it, and because I didn't want to bring the whole magazine with me here, plus the magazine, their charting is so tiny, I cannot see that. I always like to photocopy it, making a working copy, and then cross it out, and once I'm done, I just trash the pattern and the magazine stays nice and unmarked. So this is gonna be the winter, it's called the Winter House, and I'm gonna do it on Splash Lugana 32 count. Okay, let me put something under it. And it's a small piece because this design is tiny, and I kind of on a roll this winter making a lot of small designs because guys, I do have huge projects which probably not going to be done for another 10 years. Like, you know, I'm planning to start 2 HAEDs, which is going to be over 350,000 stitches each. So this brings me joy, and it's gonna, you know, keep me happy. I have something to show you guys, you know, quick finishes, quick wins. Yeah, and it's fun because you start something new and you accomplish it. So this is 32 count Marana. I think it's called ice blue color splash. Yeah, and little stitcher usually only uses like a few colors. I did another pattern, so this is called 4 colors. I might have, I think might not be the exact color here, but the numbers are correct. And I did stitch one of hers. It's called Warm Hands, Warm Heart. And I think this was in this Flosstube number 2 right here. And you see how simple the design is, but yet it's so beautiful. Yes, that's why I like her designs. And I do have kitted up, I think, a couple more at home. I mean in Long Beach. I didn't bring it with me. I thought we were only gonna stay here like a month. At the most maybe 6 weeks, and you know, it's going on almost been 2 months already here, because this house needed more fixing than I thought. And this is the bag that I made. I showed it in the last video. I make project bags, and I made it for myself, but I do have project bags in my Etsy shop. You're welcome to check that out. And I have enclosed zipper, rickrack here, and I adorn it with cute charms. And I do have more ideas and more different items I'm going to be adding to my Etsy shop next year. So it's gonna be no spoiler alert, because I kind of want to keep it a surprise what those items are gonna be, but I think it's something you don't really have it. It's gonna be small items, something like accessory things, but I think you guys gonna like it. So this is all that I'm gonna work on for today. Gonna try to start this, maybe work on this a little bit, And I'm gonna have a new start. Like in the last video I showed you this hot cocoa sampler, which is size 38 by 93, and I was gonna stitch it on this 40 count Newcastle linen with like sparkly thread in it. It's a beautiful like forest green, but then I realized I don't have a good lighting, plus this sampler is like a skinny and tall. It's gonna be so tiny. I mean, it's not gonna come out good like that. So I needed to use at least the called for count. So I decided to switch the fabric and use the called for count, because also there is a specialty stitches, and if it's 40 count it's going to be too difficult to make them. So there is a square eyelet and a start stitch in this design, and this pattern is by Etsy shop, and it's KCB Goods right here. I wrote it down so I won't forget. Yeah. All right, so in the fabric is, wait for it, she has like a taupe pinkish fabric, but we're gonna go with this beautiful gray Webelhor Eva 28 count, and that's the color right here. I ordered this from Etsy, from WTNT shop, and it got here fast, like because if you order like a lot, they had like 15% off if you order over certain amount, and plus free shipping. So I was gonna only get a couple, but when I saw 15% off plus free shipping, I'm like, okay, let me put some more in my basket, and I ordered like a whole bunch. I think it was close to $190 that I got for fabric. But I showed this, I think, in the previous video or the video before. Yeah, so we're gonna have this start on this, and the thing is, these fabrics are a lot cheaper. Well, they're like cheaper than 1 to 3 stitch, and you know the fabrics can be expensive. And this is the same fabric right here, and I wasn't sure if I'm gonna like it. That's why I didn't want to start it on Eva, but I like the way it goes. Once you get used to this type of texture, you see how this texture is, it's not throwing you off anymore, and it's just a pleasure to stitch. You just have to have a tight Q-snaps, or you know, hoops that are tight, and then you're gonna love it. Yeah, okay, let me go ahead and stitch some. Okay guys, I'm gonna go ahead and work on it, and I will come back and show you when I have some more progress.
What are you doing, huh? What are you doing? You like snow?
This is the first time on the snow. This is pretty much our first snow. Last time it just snowed just a tiny bit, not even enough to cover the roads, but it feels like it's really starting to pick up. Winter snowstorm. It's snowing. Winter snowstorm. This is Missouri here. Look at the snow. This is not even that place is more cheap. Hi, today is Friday, January 10th, and there's been a lot of stuff going on here with this weather in Missouri. We've been sitting here without being able to get out of the house for 6 days, and that was last Saturday that it snowed and it covered all the roads, so we were not able to go anywhere. And we've been calling the city, and I called today and I complained. I'm like, when are you guys gonna clean the roads? We get no mail, no package deliveries. Another thing I forgot to show you just a second ago is this beautiful finish. I actually finished it on January 31st. I was watching the live from New York, the walking show. I've been enjoying that. And I was stitching while I was watching it, and I finished that night. So this is actually officially was January 31st finish. I mean, gosh, December 31st finish, but we're gonna count it as 2024 because it was just like hours away from New Year. Yeah. And this right here is gonna get in here. Gonna be like hanging on the wall thingy. Oh, sorry about that. Like this. But in order for me to put that in there, because it's not gonna go like this. This is raw edges. I'm gonna do the backing, and I have to go to the store and pick out the backing fabric for it. Probably gonna buy like 12 inches wide piece, because that's gonna be enough to finish this, or maybe half a yard, so I can have some for other things. Yeah, I have to take this with me and then pick the color that's gonna be suitable for this design. And I think it turned out beautiful. Yeah, I'm gonna go stitch some more on this hot cocoa sampler. Guys, today is Monday, January the 20th, and it's been a hot minute, and I'm back with more progresses. I've been kind of delaying it to, to make more progress on things. And yeah, and so let's get started. There's gonna be starts, some finishes, some fully finishes, and things that you never seen before. All right, so I made this project bag, project keeper, and this was kind of experimental. It's a little bit crooked because I didn't have a ruler, but this is just for me. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have some in my shop when I perfect all this. They're gonna be very, very straight, because I'm not putting anything for sale that's crooked. All right, this right here is Love Notes. Oh, yeah, you saw that little part of the pattern. I'm gonna hide that. This right here is Love Notes, and this is a Cupid cup. It's like a booklet. I'll put it on the screen, and there's different ones. I only like this one to stitch for now, because I don't stitch much Valentine, but this one says Love Me Latte, so it's a cute cup, roses, and people already stitched this on YouTube. Yeah, I seen some on Instagram, and I kind of chose my similar colors, what I had in the stash and what was called for, so kind of like close to what was called for. Yeah. And I'm stitching this on 32 count Lugana vintage country mocha. I think that's like a lot of people's favorite. Yeah, all right. This is done with this. And let's move to another start. This one is one of my recent starts. Just started like the other day. This one is a Plum Street sampler. It's called Cow Pile, and I'm using my own DMC conversion. This is supposed to be like, this is charted, the cows are charted in fancy floss that are grayish with variegation in it. So I picked the gray DMC floss because the black would look too harsh. I think this ice blue, this is 28 count Eva Ebelhor. Yeah, and the colors I picked kind of like right here, whatever I had in a stash, similar to what it's called for, but kind of my own. So that's another start, and I only stitch on it one night, so we got one cow done. All right, and this is the big one right here. This was my birthday purchase chart. This is called Sweet Shoppy by Heaven and Earth Design, and it's 354,200 stitches. So the way I start doing it, instead of going everywhere, I would chart a little section and then just go all over it in that particular section, and I don't start another one until I finish this one. And we are here, we are at 1.85% already. I believe this is close to maybe 6,700 stitches. I don't remember the exact number, but I could look it up in my in here. I'm just gonna look it up right now. So I wrote it down last night. I start writing everything down what I do. Okay, so this is where did I write it down? Obviously not here. I wrote it down somewhere else. I wrote it down that I did stitch on it to finish it up. Little stitches right here. There was a lot of confetti. 351 stitches. And I stitched another project yesterday that I'm gonna show you in a minute. That was so yesterday total stitches was 1,268 stitches I put in. I don't usually stitch that much, but I was on a roll. Yeah, and I'm gonna put like a picture of this. So this is 18 count Ada, and I do have like scroll frames for it, but I don't want to use it because it's so little that's stitched on it, and I don't have any comfortable way to sit here. So when we come to California, maybe and I have more stitched on it, I'll stitch it. So also for this, I set a goal 3,000 stitches, but I already stitched almost 7,000 just since January 2nd, right? But the reason why I like to get a head start on each project, so it's gonna be like motivating me to stitch more. Once you have certain area, you like, okay, let's see how it's gonna look like right here. I mean, even though you know what's gonna be there, but it's always looks different on a canvas. So this is 18 count cotton canvas, and I don't stitch on 25 count 1/1 or anything like that. Big pieces like this, that just would never be completed because I'm not comfortable stitching it. So yeah, this is always this project. Let's move on to the next one. All right, and the next one, this is the one that I stitched. Let's see how many stitches yesterday. 917 stitches. This is Owl Forest embroidery, and they have a stitch along sal, and you're supposed to stitch it. It's like 12 months. Each one is gonna say right here January, and this is their I guess European Santa Claus on here or something. And when I looked up how big that piece is, I think it's more than 44,000, and gets revealed each month, and it's free on their website. I I'm like, okay, I don't even have piece that big. And the linen is very expensive. That piece, like 19 by 27, you can get fairly cheap, but anything that's more than 19 by 27, it's gonna be a good amount of money. And you know, I didn't want to spend more and more. I already have a lot of fabric, so I decided I can do this monthly pillows. And this is 18 count, and this was left over from this huge piece that I bought for my heaven and earth design, 18 count. So I just dyed it the day before. I hand dyed it in tea. I just brewed some tea and put it on the stove top, like let it boil in like an actual pot. And then I wring it out really good, and I put it in the oven because you don't want to put this steam iron on it because it's gonna leave spouts, like white spouts, and it's gonna be like basically, you know, not good for cross stitching. It's gonna be ruined fabric. It's gonna ruin it. So I did that. It dried up pretty good in the oven, but you have to do low setting. I started like with 175 Fahrenheit, and my oven is here in, not in Long Beach, but here in Missouri. It's electric, and I set it to 175, and then I kind of increased it, and I checked, and I don't leave it unattended because you're gonna burn it. And then I iron it when I turn off that steam setting, because it can drip and it will leave white stains and it's gonna be ruined. Well, you can re-dye it, but yeah. So this is 912 stitches already in here, and this is 18 count A down. And I picked the colors that were closest for the cold for. They have a cold for on there, and right here I'll show you. They have like a cold for here, but it's like an Russian, but they still, you can understand it because they have like an English abbreviation here, DMC, and they tell you the colors in DMC. Also, the chart that they provide is PDF, and in that PDF included, you can extract a saga file, which I did. It took a little figuring out how to do it. Like, you have to download first to PC, because if you download to your iPad, for some reason I'm not able to extract it to my iPad, so I saved the file separately, extracting it, and then email it to myself and open it iPad. And this way I can see exactly how many stitches I'm in. So I did 917 stitches on this yesterday, and I started like at night, and because I stitched 351 stitches on that heaven and earth design, and it took more, like a lot longer than 917 stitches on this, because there were like, you know, the 18 count is so small, and I'm stitching in 2 threads with that, and it was hard to find those left like single ones, like they were like sprinkled around. The stitches were like 2 stitches, 1 stitch, and every time you had to change the switch up your floss. Yeah, but this was so easy to stitch. And at the end, like next January, by next January, actually in December, I'll have a pillow for every month. I don't think I'm gonna be making them just yet. I decided for a lot of projects I'm gonna like make a roll and put all the projects in there, and then when I'm really ready how to finish them, FFO them, I'm gonna do it that way, because I don't want to finish it just because, you know, for like a YouTube video, just for sensation, and then regret it the way I finished it. I really wanted to be the final decision, like I really like something, because I have great ideas. These things you can probably make project bags or project keepers, put like in the front page, like the one I had here. like let's say put it right in the front, sew it in, and then you're gonna have your winter project, and you're gonna have like the winter themed project keeper for yourself. You know, that would be like so awesome. Yeah, and like if for each month or at least for each season you can make one, and it's gonna be like, you know, sewed on here. I think it's a great idea. So that's the reason I might not be finishing all of them in the pillows, some of them. And plus I want to see how big this is. So this is the top of the border here, and this is supposed to be the little horse here, and then another line here. But on the top of the border there is like a little swirl here, so it should be about 6 inches. So okay, for the, you know, for the size. You know, also see that the HAED shrunk, and the stitch is kind of a little bit wonky because the threads are super tight, because I want to get like a good coverage. But I think I might try next on the next months, maybe try with one thread and see how that looks out. But I do like the coverage, you know. Right here is no problem stitching, but when you're stitching it so close, and especially with the white thread, the white thread always behaves differently. It doesn't want to lay straight. It always makes stitches wonky. But yeah, it is what it is. So and this is what I hand dyed. I had the leftover, like a chunk of Ada from that Heaven and Earth design. So there was, I kind of like measured them out to be the same, and I got 8 pieces, so it's enough for 8 months. Yeah. Okay, this is done. Let's move on to another one, next one. The next one, if you remember, I started this. This is called Rack Stock by Plum Street Sampler, and I used my own DMC conversion. This is my own hand-dyed threads. I over-dyed the DMC, and I think the way I was doing them was just taking a blank, that white one that they sell, and I was just dyeing it myself, like with different browns, and the green too. This green is like the same color, but it has variegation. That was a hand dye by myself. I did that, and I think it turned out so beautiful. So I finished it up on the machine. I leave a little hole up here, and then I stuff it up with polyfill. I don't like those walnut shells or anything like that, because they add too much weight, and then when you have a lot of pillows, it's just going to be a problem storing them. We have a storage problem in Southern California, and you know, the real estate is expensive, so you live in a small place, and especially with these fires, probably rents will go like, you know, even higher. Okay, I digress. So right here I went ahead and I put I used that invisible thread. It's like a nylon thread I showed by Coats and Clark. I showed it in my last video, and I just sewed on. I don't like any kind of glue. I just think it's like abomination for the to put it on your cross stitch. Like, you spend so much time stitching it and you're just gonna glue it. Oh no. I mean, if it's your thing and that's like, you don't mind it, go ahead and do it. But for me, I just hate it. I can't stand the idea of glue, because I did it once and it came apart because my daughter like got her little pillow dirty and I had to wash it, so alien glue, it just came off. This right here, I don't think it's ever gonna get dirty, but I just like the idea of things that are not so temporary. Yeah, and you see, it looks very nice. And it just has a different vibe. I think to me it feels different, because if I put like a glue, if I glue it on, I feel like it makes it cheap and like, you know, like a dollar store kind of thing. I don't know, this is like, says quality and I like it that way. All right, let's move to the next one. This one was a finish, start and finish, and this is by the Little Stitcher, the Winter Bird House, and I stitched this on 32 count splash lagoon. I don't know if you can see, there was like this snowflakes, well, the little blob circles, they kind of faded on the camera, I can see. So I just finished it the same way, and like I think I stitched it, oh, not in one night, maybe started in one night and finished it. And I used this nylon thread right here in the birdhouse, the roof, for it to be sparkly, and I think I achieved it. So I just cut out 2 circles, laced it, and then sew them with invisible thread, and then leave little hole right here and tuck one part in, come around the other part in, and I also use that invisible. It looks professionally done, but I did that, so very happy with the way it turned out, right? And another finisher I have right here, this is a sampler by KCB Goods on Etsy. It's called Hot Cacao Sampler, but of course the colors don't look anything like the actual Hot Cacao Sampler. All of it is my own conversion, except this little Hershey Kisses, well, the chocolate candy. I used the Cold for DMC, all of it, for this candy, because that would give it the best result. Right here I picked the classic Christmas colors, like Dimension uses a lot of this, and I just picked them by looking at the colors from my stash. And I used another variegated thread right here. This is called Squared Eyelet, and I love it. It looks so beautiful. And of course, all of that, I just picked my own colors for the DMC, and I changed this sparkly thread right here. It's a nylon thread by Sewology, I think. I bought it from Hobby Lobby. And I changed the seam colors too, because she had a gray and I already have a gray 28 count fabric here. This is Eva Ebelhor, and I think this turned out good. I think this DMC 115 variegated, I use it in a lot of stitching, especially for the winter. This is my favorite variegated DMC color because the variegation is nice. Some of the DMC variegation, the variegation is too stretched, like it's gonna get like too white and it's just gonna be too much white or too much of one color, but this one is more like cohesive and it goes together. Yeah, so this is my finish. I'm not gonna FFO it, fully finish it, because I wanna put it in a stash where I have finished cross stitch, but they're waiting maybe to be put on a shopper or a project bag, or maybe if I wanna frame it and gift it to someone, then I'll do that, because it's a great idea to actually have some on hand that you're gonna FFO it later, not just FFO everything. I have limited space on my walls in Long Beach, little small apartment, yeah. So, and I don't mind it to be in the like put away, because I know I'm gonna get back to it and I'm gonna make something beautiful out of it one day. All right, and this right here, this is by Bent Creek, and this is called the Red Bird Sampler, and this was stitched on 28 count Eva Ebelhor, and there is a lot of specialty stitches. I talked about it earlier, like rice stitches, chevron stitches, herringbone, and satin stitch, Algerian eyelets. And I also used this DMC, red variegated DMC here. I used my own DMC conversion, and I especially changed this to blue because it was, I think, dark brown or almost black, and I wanted more color in it because in Missouri here it was so like gray at that time, not even the snow on the ground, and I just wanted color therapy. It's just, you know, I have to have color. I noticed that because I live in California and we have things blooming throughout the whole year. Even in January there is something blooming, you know, everything is green. And here is I live in California for a very long time, since 1992, and in Southern California for almost 20 years. So I'm used to seeing a lot of color, and this was a shock here in Missouri. It was all gray, and I think I was getting a mild winter depression. Wasn't depressed, but just these colors were making me sad, you know. So yeah, sometimes you have to do what you have to do. All right, and let's move on to the next one. The last one, it's not the last one, but yeah, there's gonna be more coming. So this right here, Victoria Exemplar has this free stitch along, and they have a Facebook group too. And I did the Blossom of the January right here. And she doesn't have like code for color. She has it charted in color, like a colored, you know how in the old cross stitch books they just had a color chart, and you have to pick your own colors. So this is how she kind of does it, and I picked my own colors. This is the darker one here with DMC 501, and I wanted them to be like a dusty. And this is Belfast, no, not best, yeah, it's Belfast linen, 32 count by Zweigert, and it's pearl gray, and I love it. This is so cute. So this is going to be a monthly thing. I did this in one night, so this is definitely like you can still join it. This is fun to do because you don't know which one is going to be next. It's a mystery sal, just like Forest, Owl Forest. Embroidery is also a mystery sal. And another stitch along I'm gonna join is Fox and Rabbit. This is also a mystery stitch along, and it's also free, but I think after a certain day, like in a year, it's gonna go for sale. And if you miss those things, it's gonna be $10 for each little part. So essentially, I think it would cost you $120 if you would miss it and not stitch it now. And right now it's $0. All you have to do is buy your own linen, and it's kind of pretty big. It's 333 by 33. They also have a Facebook group that's especially for Fox and Rabbit sales like this. And you can go to Fox and Rabbit website, and they have a section where it says mystery stitch along. You click on that, you sign up for their I think newsletter, and they will send you like I think email you, or you can download it, I forgot, like your chart. And this is the first one. It's so cute. So I have so much different linen, but they're all not that big. It's mostly like 19 by 27, and this piece right here, it's got to be like at least 26 by 26. So right for I think the 28 count. Let's see. Yeah, I wrote some here. So right there, yeah. The 28 count would be 26 by 26 at least, but they would recommend 30 by 30 because they do a lot more on the sides, and I just use the calculator on 1 to 3 stitch. Yeah, I'm not gonna show you the actual chart, but also this right here that says you have to start in the middle. If you're not, you cannot start in the middle, then it might not be for you, but I think it's fun. This is not that big. Let me see. I'm gonna look at the chart how big it is. Oh, that's color first. Okay, I don't know where I put that little paper. Oh, behind here. So each motif is about 55 by 55 stitches wide for this. So, and 55 by 55, it's like a small ornament, right? So once a month, I think it's pretty good. And then at the end of the year, you're gonna get this beautiful sampler. So I'm waiting on my my order Lugana, and I'm gonna antiquate, because that was like the cheapest one for that piece, because they're pretty expensive, and it still cost me like $30, over $30, you know, like 32 and some change with shipping and tax for that piece. And I'm gonna tea dye it, kind of like those like this. You see that you got this beautiful mottling. I want to do that with that Lugana. I think it's gonna turn out beautiful. Yeah. All right, I think that's all I have for you, and I'm gonna go stitch some more, and we might have more things to show you in the next slide. This is the bird feeder we put out for the birdies, because it's so cold here and nothing to eat, so they've been eating it. You can see the evidence there. There's crumbs on the ground from those seeds. It's like a little, almost like a forest back there that they live in.